Welcome to Method of the Meadness. I'm Burley Mullins, and today we're bottling sparkling mead. Okay, so if you haven't seen the siphoning process before, I explained it in the Dragon's Breath Part 2 video. I'll go ahead and link that up here. And maybe comment below if you'd like to see a more in-depth coverage of the actual siphoning process and the siphon that I use itself. Okay, in the meantime, these bottles are already sanitized and ready to go. So I'm just gonna go ahead, siphon the mead into them, and I'll fast forward or skip through this process. For now, leave a comment below if you like this setup or if you want to see it every time. If you've watched my Dragon's Breath videos and you're wondering why I'm not racking this mead into secondary fermentation and putting it straight into bottles, what I'm doing is putting them into the bottles while there's still a little bit of yeast alive and kicking. And I'm hoping to generate carbonation in the bottles themselves with a bottle fermentation. I'll show you more of that in a second. Okay, now that I've siphoned the mead from its fermentation vessel into these bottles, it filled up 6 and a little bit of a 1/7 of these 500 milliliter swing top bottles. If you do buy these, do make sure that you buy ones that are capable of handling carbonation. There are sellers out there who are selling decorative ones only that cannot handle the pressure. You need to be able to handle 90 psi. So what we're doing now is reinvigorating the yeast with just a little bit, a 1/4 teaspoon or less, just a shot of honey in each of these, and gently dissolve it in. There are instances where you would do a secondary fermentation, get it as clear as possible, and then go through this process with sparkling meads, but that's if you keep extra yeast on hand and stick in a little bit of extra yeast as well. If the alcohol content is too high or any other major stressor for the yeast, it may not cooperate when you go to make it carbonate. And the honey you use for this process is much less important than the honey you use as the main flavoring honey. This is literally just sugar to get the carbonation going. You'll want to store these safely away from any children, small animals, irresponsible adults, because if the secondary fermentation is too vigorous, even with bottles that can handle a lot of pressure, you may end up with a bottle bomb. It hasn't happened to me yet, but it has happened. That's why I'm very careful and use yeast that's kind of on its last legs instead of fresh yeast for this process. Because of that, I have had a couple of meads where it didn't become sparkling, but rather vaguely effervescent. I'd rather have that than an exploding mead. And of course, by design, these sparkling meads will be cloudy. There will still be yeast sediment in them. For better or for worse, you're going to have a cloudy mead. Unless you use a commercial process to clear it out. I know it's not sparkling yet, but I'm going to go ahead and taste test this and test the final gravity reading. And I will put the alcohol content right here. Alright, let's see how this is doing. This is my first time tasting this, so. Ooh, yes. It is on the sweeter side of semi-sweet. Or is it? There's a big punch of rhubarb that is adding the sour note and a bit of brightness to it. So it's actually a little hard to place the overall sweetness. Yeah, I would call this semi-sweet. I probably, I would have wanted this, based on the description of the books, a little sweeter. But the yeast was quite vigorous in this case. But it did leave a lot of fruity esters, which I'm enjoying. The honey is not bringing too terribly much to this table. Both the orange blossom honey and the wildflower honey were fairly clean of flavor profile. Just, you know, providing a bed for the, providing a platform for the rhubarb flavors to come forward. Normally I would want honey to be the absolute star of the show and everything else be supporting characters, but in this case, from the description of the books, it seemed vital that the rhubarb would be front, center, and as prominent as possible. Once this is fully sparkling and ready to go, this is going to be absolutely delightful. Do note that these bottling videos, I know I just released one for the Dragon's Breath, is not the last video of the series. I'm going to do one more video for each of these when they are fully done and ready. So there will be a tasting video once the Dragon's Breath mead has settled in its bottle. That may take a few months. And this cup of cheer is fully sparkling. You don't wait that much longer for sparkling meads, especially if you're not using real cork and you're using an airtight seal, because you don't need the flavors to settle. They will unsettle immediately upon opening them, and you don't get any of the microoxygenation as you would with a natural cork. Now I am using a synthetic cork in those Dragon's Breath, in that Dragon's Breath mead I just bottled, and it will have a much tighter seal than natural cork, but there's still the benefit of letting the flavors settle and get to know each other. I'll go ahead and link that bottling video right here, and I might even put it in the end card if I'm feeling a little spicy. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified when new videos come out. Comment down below if you'd with a mead you'd like to see me do in the future from pop culture, and let me know if you like this format, if you want me to change anything up. You know, anything's up for commentary. And if you'd like to see more Thor content, also comment that down below. Sir! Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that... Thor! What? I heard a car. He barks because he's excited because he wants to see people. He doesn't bark to, like, guard the house or anything. Silly boy.